Have you ever been in that situation at work where you needed to ask something, but it felt a bit awkward or maybe hesitant to ask directly?
Oh, definitely. Maybe in a meeting or, when talking to a senior colleague.
Exactly. You want the info, but you don't want to sound clueless or maybe too demanding.
Right. It happens all the time.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've looked at some really useful, savvy English phrases that let you get the information you need without actually asking directly. It's kind of the art of asking without asking.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? It's not just about the words themselves, but the cultural nuances behind them,
Yeah.
how they help you sound more professional, more effective.
Spot on. It's about understanding how communication works in those professional English-speaking contexts. So, okay, let's jump into the first one. A really useful phrase I was wondering if you could shed some light on.
Ah, yes. This is a classic. It's a much softer way to ask for clarification or information compared to, say, explain this to me.
Yeah, shed some light. It's like something's a bit unclear, maybe in the shadows.
And you're politely asking them to illuminate it. It makes the request feel less direct, more like you're just musing aloud.
Right. Like in the example, I was wondering if you could shed some light on the budget allocation for this project. It sounds quite natural, doesn't it?
Very. It invites them to share rather than putting them on the spot. So let's say that key part again, a little slower. Shed some light on.
And at a normal conversational pace, shed some light on. So I was wondering if you could shed some light on.
Perfect. A great tool for the toolkit.
Okay, next up, another one that feels quite natural. I'm curious about your thoughts on.
Oh, I like this one. Using curious is brilliant. It frames your request as genuine interest rather than a demand for information.
Exactly. It makes it about their perspective, their opinion, which, often leads to the information you were actually after anyway.
Precisely. It's a natural way to invite someone to open up, like the example. I'm curious about your thoughts on the new marketing strategy we discussed yesterday.
Yeah, much more engaging than just, what's your opinion? It subtly shows you value their input.
It really does. It's
Yeah.
psychologically quite smart. Makes the other person feel, well, valued. Let's try that one slowly.
I'm curious about your thoughts on.
And normally, I'm curious about your thoughts on.
Lovely. Okay, what's next?
All right, this one's super practical, especially if you need someone to explain a process. Would you mind walking me through?
Yes. This is perfect for asking someone to explain something step by step. The would you mind part adds that extra layer of politeness.
It implies you know you're taking their time, but you'd really appreciate the guidance.
And the walking me through part, that imagery is great. It's like asking them to guide you on a path, literally taking you through the steps.
Right. So the example given was, would you mind walking me through how you arrived at these conclusions in your report?
Yeah,
It's asking for their process without sounding critical.
exactly. It frames it as you wanting to learn from them, to understand their journey to the conclusion, not questioning the conclusion itself, necessarily. Let's say that one again. Slowly. Would you mind walking me through?
And at a normal pace. Would you mind walking me through?
Very useful. Okay, number 4 encourages someone to give more detail. I'd be interested to hear more about.
This is another good one for opening doors. You're expressing interest, which naturally prompts the other person to elaborate.
Yeah, it's a positive signal. You're not interrogating, you're inviting them to share more because you find it, well, interesting.
And it works really well when maybe you want to understand challenges or complexities. Like the example, I'd be interested to hear more about the challenges you faced during the implementation phase.
Right, much softer than what were the problems or what went wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It creates a safe space for them to share, perhaps even things they might otherwise hesitate to mention. So let's try that one. Slowly. I'd be interested to hear more about.
And normally, I'd be interested to hear more about.
Great. Keep them coming.
Okay, phrase number 5. A very diplomatic choice for seeking clarity. Perhaps you could clarify.
The perhaps. Very gentle, very polite. This is excellent when something isn't quite clear, but you don't want to imply the speaker was unclear.
Exactly. It puts the slight confusion potentially on your side, even if it wasn't. It saves face all around.
The word clarify itself is key, making something clear, removing vagueness.
Like in the example, perhaps you could clarify what you mean by significant improvement in this context. It's a polite nudge for more specifics.
Much better than, what does significant even mean here, which can sound a bit confrontational.
Right. So let's try that one. Slowly, perhaps.
Yeah.
You could clarify.
And normally, Perhaps you could clarify.
Okay, last one on our main list. This one really shows respect for someone's expertise. I'd appreciate your insights on.
Yes, insights. That's the key word here. It immediately acknowledges the other person's experience or knowledge.
It positions you as someone seeking wisdom, essentially. It's very respectful.
Absolutely. You're explicitly valuing their perspective and expert opinion. It's great for seeking advice or strategic input.
Like the example. I'd appreciate your insights on how we might improve our customer retention strategies. You're tapping into their know-how.
And it frames it collaboratively, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How we might improve. It suggests working together, guided by their insights.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, let's do the repetition. Slowly. I'd appreciate your insights on.
And normally. I'd appreciate your insights on.
So those are 6 really solid phrases. But, it's also worth touching on the why. Why use these indirect approaches? There's a cultural element too, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. That's a crucial part of this. How direct or indirect people are varies hugely across cultures and even different company cultures.
Right. In some professional settings, maybe more hierarchical ones, asking very direct questions, especially upwards to a senior person, might be seen as maybe inappropriate or challenging.
Exactly. So people might naturally lean towards more indirect ways of seeking information out of respect for authority or position.
Whereas, and this is a generalization, of course, but in many English-speaking professional cultures, asking questions is often encouraged. But how you ask matters.
Precisely. Asking well-phrased questions, like the ones we've discussed, is often seen very positively. It shows you're engaged, you're thinking critically, you're proactive.
So it's not about being evasive.
Not at all. It's about being effective within those specific cultural or professional norms. These indirect phrases allow you to be clear about needing information while also being respectful, polite, and frankly, more strategic.
So the big takeaway, the golden tip if you like, is that using these isn't just about politeness for politeness' sake. It's smart communication. It shows respect, it softens the interaction, and it makes you look more polished and culturally aware.
Spot on. Think about that scenario mentioned in the source material. You're new to a team. You need info on a past project from the team leader.
Right, instead of just, tell me about the last project.
Yeah, which sounds a bit blunt. You could weave these phrases together, something like, hi, team leader's name. I was wondering if you could shed some light on the previous project's scope and outcomes.
Okay, starting gently.
Then maybe add, I'd be interested to hear more about what worked well and perhaps what challenges the team faced.
Showing that specific interest.
And maybe finish with, I'd appreciate your insights on how this experience might inform our approach to the current project.
Connecting it to the present and valuing their expertise. See, that flows so much better.
It's night and day, isn't it? It turns a potential interrogation into a collaborative conversation. It invites them to share their experience and wisdom.
Definitely makes them more likely to want to help you out.
Exactly. And, practice is key. Getting comfortable saying these phrases, maybe trying them out in lower stakes situations first.
Good idea. Get the feel for them.
Yeah. So just to quickly recap those key phrases.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could shed some light on for general requests.
I'm curious about your thoughts on to invite opinions naturally.
Would you mind walking me through for those step-by-step explanations?
I'd be interested to hear more about to encourage people to elaborate.
Perhaps you could clarify for seeking clearer information politely.
And I'd appreciate your insights on to respectfully tap into someone's expertise.
Mastering these, or even just a few of them, can really elevate your professional communication game.
Absolutely invaluable skills. Well, that feels like a good place to wrap this discussion for today. And speaking of tricky communication, for our next deep dive, we're planning to tackle navigating difficult conversations.
Ooh, that's a big one. Looking at expressions for starting those tough talks.
Exactly. How to initiate conversations about sensitive topics or disagreements in a professional way. Another essential part of the communication toolkit.
Definitely looking forward to that one.
So in the meantime, maybe think about which of these asking without asking phrases resonated most with you today. Could you maybe try one out this week?
Give it a go.
We'll be back soon with more communication insights. Thanks for tuning in.